Have you ever had your parents go off on you for no reason? Your boss, your lecturer? Or maybe you go to meet her and then you can just tell, today is not a good day. Hi, Anesu here. Welcome to Life Talk, where we're going to be discussing about some of the major issues that are affecting our young generation on day-to-day basis. We're going to be helping each other to stretch and maximize our potential. So recently, I received a message on Facebook, and there was somebody who was seeking for assistance. They were faced with a challenge which I believe is rather not so strange to many of us because we are quite familiar with what I'm going to be talking about. But if not, just sit back, relax, sit tight. As long as you're still alive on this earth, you're going to encounter that challenge one way or another. It's either you are the one exploding on somebody else for no reason, or somebody else is exploding on you. They just go off on you for no apparent reason. Have you ever had your parents go off on you for no reason? Your boss, your lecturer? Or maybe you go to meet her and then you can just tell, today is not a good day. These are all issues that have to do with anger management. So this guy asked the question. He says, I shall read. And so I'm facing challenges. I'm going off on innocent people. I tend to offload my anger on my loved ones, and this has strained many of my relationships. I regret doing this. How best can you assist me? I assisted this guy the best way I could because I could relate with what I was going through, since at some point in time I was in his exact same shoes. But as we dug deeper into his case, I got to discover that these were just consequences of accumulated anger. This guy apparently had been accumulating anger for a very, very long period of time. And what I just basically mean by accumulated anger, I'm talking about anger that has been internalized for a very long period of time. This is anger that has been bottled, this is anger that has been stored inside and was not given an opportunity to be expressed or at least to be aired out. Of course, we have different reasons. People can justify why they would internalize anger, why they would store up anger. Maybe it's because somebody says, I do not want to cause havoc, I don't want to cause disputes, I do not want argument, and as a result, most of them just keep quiet, they just store in that anger, and then at the end of the day, they do not really get to express it. So that can be justified. That can be justified so much, but I thought the same as well. But there are effects now. It has health implications, right? That can lead to depression. Right, health-wise, it can affect you, and even your relationships, of course, they can be strained. Why do I say that? Think of it this way. Every time you get angry and internalize that anger, it's like you're blowing a bubble. So the more angry you get and internalize the anger, the bigger the bubble gets. But here's the thing. Every time you're blowing a bubble, you do not know when it's going to burst. It can burst anytime, any second, any minute, and most of the times it's unexpected. The same thing applies with anger. The bubble of anger usually, more often than not, it explodes on the wrong people. People that are innocent, people that never did anything wrong to you. Now, getting angry is not a crime. Everybody gets angry. What matters the most is what you do with the anger. Never at any point allow anger to control you. Never, I repeat, never at any point allow anger to control you. Be the one to control anger, not the other way around. When you allow anger to control you, you end up doing things that you would regret. You can regret it for the rest of your life, right? Uncontrolled anger has a lot of consequences. We can see the catastrophic effects of it, right? We see somebody can murder because of anger. Marriages have wrecked because of anger. Relationships have been broken up because of anger. We have seen all sorts of wrongdoings because of uncontrolled anger. Hence, it is always wise to be the one to be in charge of your anger, control your anger, term your anger, know how to deal with your anger. So in the process now of making him understand the situation that he was in, I had to share my own personal experience, which I'm going to share with you guys for you to better understand what I'm talking about. I was born and raised in a rural area, right? But in 2009, I moved from the rural area into an urban area. I was pretty much excited, but I also got to discover that the lives are pretty much different. Life in the rural area is pretty simple, straightforward, basic, not too many things to worry about, which was a bit different from the life that was in the urban area. This also meant that I had to leave, I had to transfer from the government school, right, to go to a private school. And this private school was at some point an all-white school. Even when I went there were still a lot of white people in the school. Very, very much excited about this, hey? And my aunt said to me that when you come this side, make sure that you bring a couple of your test books so that you can show that she has this side. so that they can at least assess what you guys have covered. They can assess your performance as well as identifying the areas in which you need help. I loved that because I was quite academically good, right? I was good academically. So I carried my top books and I said, I'm just going to show these guys what we talk about, what we mean when we talk about academics. So I was very much excited, full of happiness. I carried my books, but when I got there, I got slapped with the dose of reality. Things were a bit different. Things did not go the way I expected them to go, and it was just such a turnaround for my life. When I got there, I discovered that this school was a strictly English speaking school. Using any other language besides English was a very much punishable offense, of which for me I couldn't speak English. So it was very, very difficult for me to relate. It was very difficult for me to fit in the environment. It was very difficult for me to make friends. It was very difficult for me just to understand the whole system because I couldn't really speak English. And this became so hard for me. So it was very, very difficult for me now to fit in the new environment. So most of the times I would always isolate myself because I couldn't relate to the people. You're coming in an environment whereby there are kids that are quite smart, kids that can speak fluent English without, chopping and all that kind of stuff. And for me, I felt so much uncomfortable. I couldn't really understand these guys. Now, another big challenge came in when we started learning, right? All the lessons we conducted in English, I was lights out. I didn't really understand what on earth was going on. I was just watching. I couldn't understand anything. So it was so bad now that when students discovered this, they started making fun of me, right? I became the center of attraction in the school. Many students just wanted to talk to me. And during the first days, I thought to myself, I'm making quite some progress. I'm going to have a lot of friends inside. But later on, I then discovered these guys had a different agenda. They just came to me. They wanted to talk to me, not because they wanted to be friends with me. They wanted to start. So they were really excited just to have a conversation with me so that they could just see how bad my English was. It's either whether I'm going to the bathroom, whether I'm going anyway, I'll just meet these guys with their faces lit up and smiles all over. Hey, Anesu, and they really wanted to talk to me. And I was wondering, man, are they doing this just for the sake of laughing at me? And there was so much pain at that time. And even when it came to exams, my results, like I said, they took off in their own direction. It was just bad that even if you had to compare my results from the rural area and the results I was getting at that time, you wouldn't believe it was the same person. They were just bad. As a matter of fact, for a particular term, my highest mark for a certain examination, for my exam, was 27%. So the guys started calling me Mr. 27. The whole class, right? They started labeling me Mr. 27, Mr. 27, and then mock at me. They found pleasure in doing that. But to me, that wasn't funny. These guys were just taking too far. It wasn't funny anymore. So most of the times I would cry alone. I would find it difficult. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I was staying with my aunt, by the way, and my cousins. So my aunt had set a strict rule in the house. She had said English only in the house. And she did that so that I could learn English faster. But this also created another challenge in the sense that in as much as she was very free, caring and loving, I didn't have the guts to go and talk to her about what was going on in my life, that students were laughing at me because she was clueless. She didn't know this was happening to me. But on a daily basis, every single day, students were laughing at me. They were mocking me. It was just uncomfortable. It was too heavy for me. And I was internalizing all this pain every now and again. I didn't have anybody to talk to. My parents were hundreds of miles away. So it was a very big challenge. I kept everything to myself. And what happened is that on this other day, right, I can't remember what day it was, but it was during break time. We were playing soccer in the fields. There were little girls that were supporting us, they were cheering, and we were having fun. So it so happened that one of the guys from the opponent team kicked the ball and it came straight into my face. My whole face got numb. It was quite painful. And what really pissed me off was that when I turned around, literally everyone was bursting in their tears. They were laughing their lungs out, including the girls, right, from our class and other streams that were watching us playing soccer. They just started laughing. And I really got angry. I could feel the rage rising. And what I did was that I just attacked this guy. I started beating the guy and then he started bleeding. I was reported. We went for a hearing. I was given my punishment. But after that, I approached the guy. I talked to him. I spoke to him in Shona so that I could really express how sorry I was. And he really understood, right? And we actually became pretty good friends after that. But to some people, they thought I was a violent person. They marked me as a violent person because they thought, oh, this guy does not have self-control and all that kind of stuff. So many people thought I was violent, but I was not violent. I had never attacked anybody before. something like, I had never done something like that before. It was so unfortunate I allowed anger to get the best of me, which is something that I was not supposed to have done. But this is just an illustration of what accumulated anger can do. Alright, when the bubble bursts, you don't know where it's going to burst. And most of the times it affects the people that are closest to you. You affect your loved ones, right? You strain your relationships with other people. You become wrongly labeled in that environment just because you accumulated anger for a long time and you did not allow yourself to express that anger or to at least air out that this anger. Problem really affects males as compared to women. That is not to say women are not affected by this problem. They are affected by this problem. But it hits hard on males because males, they do not really know how to express their feelings, especially if the feelings are negative. Probably they're going through a hard time or things are not working out and they're stressed. Most of the times they do not know how to express these things. And it's because of this. When you're growing up as a male, you're told that men don't cry. Right? There are some things that they say, men don't do this, men don't do this, men don't do this. So that moment you want to try and express your feelings, how you feel, you are called a sissy. They label you a sissy and they think you're not strong enough. So it seems as if you're not strong. It seems as if you're showing signs of weaknesses. So because of that, men, every time they internalize all the anger, the challenge that they're going through, all the hardships, they try to just incubate everything. All the anger, they are just suppressing it. They're suppressing. And I think that is the reason why studies also show that in 5 suicides due to depression, 4 of them are males. And that is the reason males just do not know how to express their feelings. And also studies also show that that is also the reason why women live longer than men. Men tend to have a shorter lifespan as compared to women. Why is that so? It is because of anger and depression and all these kind of things. We just do not know how to express those things. And I'm saying this to men. It's okay when you're going through a hard time to talk to somebody. It's okay to find out somebody to talk to. It's okay to cry when things are not balancing out, when things are very hard. We have heard this for so long. Men don't do this, men do this. But this has proved that it does not work. Of course you have to man up. But this has also serious health implications. There's nothing wrong with talking to somebody when you're going through a hard time. There's nothing wrong with crying when things are not adding up. When you're under a lot of pressure, that is a way of expressing anger. That is a way of expressing your emotions. Women are very good at this. Women, if anything is wrong, if anything is not adding up, women are so communicative. They communicate so much. They can call their friend, hey sweetie, this is what is happening. This is what is happening. Women cry. They know how to express, and because of that, those guys are not really very much affected, in as much as of course they are affected, but they are not affected to the same extent as the males. Because males internalize the anger, many of them become violent. We witness domestic violence. They become so abusive. Many a time it is because of the anger that has been internalized for a very long time. It could be something that maybe it emanated from their childhood. They had a very rough childhood. And that anger, they've bottled that anger up, they've internalized that anger, and they've not expressed it. And as a result, they become so aggressive. They become so abusive. But what I'm saying is that it's okay to talk to somebody when things are hard. It's okay to express your emotions. Even if they say man up, it's okay to express your emotions. There's nothing wrong with expressing your emotions. I am suggesting to you that do not allow yourself to accumulate anger. Internalizing anger is very dangerous. In the next video, we're going to be talking about some of the steps in which one can act or control their anger in a given situation, or at least express their anger that is within them. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to turn on the notification button.